The Air Jordan Fire Red comes back in 2025, but is it still the greatest Jordan of all time, or is it just nostalgia talking? Stick around because I'm gonna go ahead and break down later in this video why this is gonna be one of the most wearable retros of the year. But with that being said, you guys, this is a sneaker that I barely was able to get my hands on, and it almost wasn't able to happen, so I am very grateful to get this channel or this sneaker on the channel. But with that being said, of course you guys know this is the Air Jordan Fire Red, and I was able to pick this sneaker up. I believe I got it from Foot Locker. I actually had went to Chic at first, and I wasn't able to get me a pair because they had sold out at that location in my size. But when it came to Foot Locker, they had my perfect size. So I gotta say, this sneaker is definitely kind of in between of sitting and selling. I don't know if it's gonna completely sell out, but I believe this shoe has been out for a little bit of time. But we're gonna go ahead and break that down later in the video. But with that being said, you guys, I love this overall shoe, you guys. I love the color red. I love white. And it's very poppy shoe. I honestly am considering keeping this shoe in the collection because, as you guys know, and if you don't, I do these reviews so you guys can have a little what to expect guide, let you guys know if it's true to size and things like that. But I gotta say, you guys, this shoe looks very, very nice, and I just might keep it. My favorite color is red, and I do love the color white because it is very poppy, so it's definitely a great combination. But enough of me, let's go ahead and talk about this shoe. And we're gonna go and talk about like the overall history and legacy for those that don't know, and for those that do, this is gonna be a little refresher. So with that being said, a little about this history and legacy. The Fire Reds first dropped in 1990, and they were designed by Tinker Hatfield. MJ wore them during that season, and the details had that shark teeth midsole, you had that reflective tongue, and the clear outsole, which made them stand out on and off the court. There was past retros that came out like in 2000, 2013, 2020, leading up to this 2025 pair. Gotta say, the Fire Reds are super iconic, and they are definitely like the Mount Rushmore colorway for the Jordan 5 fans. So that being said, for any fans out there, go ahead and comment that down below and let me know if I'm correct. But wait until I show you how this pair looks on feet. It looks amazing, and I'm about to show you guys just how it pops, you guys. Of course, I do have light on my video, so it does make it a little pop extra, but I gotta say, these shoes definitely, not even the camera does enough justice with the light. Let's go ahead and talk about the overall design and materials, you guys. You do have that white leather upper, as you guys can see, which I'm not too sure if it's softer than the older retros. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm not like a really sneakerhead where I know like each and every different material, because I didn't really have all the Jordans growing up, so I wouldn't really know like, okay, this material is different from like the last release. You do have a nice fire red midsole with that shark teeth accents, as I was kind of talking about before. You do have that reflective 3M tug, as I can kind of show you guys, but I will do a better justice when I do those B-roll clips. You do have the icy translucent outsole, which is kind of similar with that other review I just did on the Nike Air Foam Positive Deep Royal. And if you do want to see that review should be coming out either after this video or before this video, so just check out the channel, or I put an info card, I believe, on this side. When I did go ahead and pull these out of the box, man, very great experience. Even though the box is a very normal box, I gotta say, just the way the shoes look when you pop them out the box fresh and clean, they're just like a whole different thing. I gotta say, very nice shoe, very bold, and definitely instantly recognizable. Now let's go ahead and talk about the comfort and performance to a certain extent, because you guys can see, of course, these shoes are not worn. So with that being said, the comfort, I gotta say, this shoe is true to size. This is a nice 10.5 for me, which I am a 10.5. But for me, true to size to me means like my foot is like not at the end, but like a little bit at the end, just for like a little reference. This shoe is, I guess, slightly bulky compared to modern sneakers when it comes to like running sneakers and just like the other sneakers coming out. The air unit is still decent, but it's not a performance shoe by today's standard, which, to be honest, I have never hooped in a pair of Jordans, and I'm not sure why you would hoop in a pair of these Jordan 5s, but then again, I'm not sure. So just keep that in mind. If you are buying this for a performance, this is probably not the best or most efficient shoe when it comes to performance. But then I also do want to say this is a more lifestyle shoe than a hoop shoe, definitely in 2025. But I definitely want to say, if you're wondering how long that icy sole will last before yellowing, we'll get into that in just a second. Now, before we go ahead and get into that, we're going to talk about the durability and longevity of this shoe, which is of course important when you're paying for a shoe that costs this much. The leather should definitely hold up with some great care and some sneaker cleaning products. I definitely recommend, when it comes to sneakers like this, I definitely definitely recommend taking care of them, cleaning them. I know it gets a lot sometimes. I know life kind of gets in the way, but I definitely recommend you want to keep this sneaker clean. This outsole will definitely yellow after some time. So you definitely want to have, there's definitely a way to protect them. I'm not sure, but I definitely will go ahead and do my due diligence and maybe put a comment down below and let you guys know. But you definitely want to add some sneaker shields. I am definitely an advocate for them. Sneaker shields are a great thing to add to your shoes. They're basically gonna allow you to not crease them. I'm definitely a person that does not like crease shoes. And then you also just want to have great storage. I've heard that if you store your sneakers in a certain way, it helps the yellowing. It also helps keep your sneakers clean. But with that being said, these are your everyday beaters. At least for me, I wouldn't classify them as everyday beaters. But if kept clean, they will definitely last you quite some time. So let's go ahead and talk about the styling on foot. Styling on foot for these right here, man, just can't go wrong, man. If I had this shoe in my wardrobe, like long term, I could definitely put together some solid fits. I definitely would go neutral though. Like I definitely wouldn't go too crazy on the colors. I probably would keep like my fit like a nice red and white, even though it's kind of crazy in LA, Cali, but I probably would just keep it like white, black, you know, like those neutral tones. I'm not a person that kind of like experiments too crazy with colors, but then again, who knows how I'll be in a couple months. But with that being said, you guys, this colorway is very versatile, and I gotta say, if you want to rock these for a nice outing or whatever that may be, you cannot go wrong with a shoe in any type of environment. So pick the shoes up. As far as prices, value, $210, and of course the links for the shoes will be down below in the description. And if I do have some troubles finding like the retail links, which is, if for those that don't know, retail is where like how much it comes out for, then I'll give you guys the resale links, and hopefully those resale links aren't too crazy. But this shoe right here, I gotta say, it's not as crazy a hype as like, of course, Travis Scott releases, because these shoes definitely were still in store after a couple of days. So that means this shoe is definitely not going to be too high in demand. So definitely I wouldn't say pay over resale unless you have to, but there's always some solid demand for some Air Jordan 5. So long term, I definitely want to say these tend to age pretty well in value because of the legacy factor they do have. So if you're looking at a shoe that's going to be a good investment, I definitely can say this shoe is going to be solid. I don't know how solid. I'm not a person that personally invests sneakers and kind of like keeps them for the value, but I definitely know this shoe is going to hold some great value, especially if you keep it in some good condition. Now, you guys, are the Air Jordan 5 for Fire Reds worth it in 2025? For me personally, I feel like they are worth it. I feel like the experience is just the feeling you get of wearing a shoe like this. For me personally, I know the type of feeling I would get. And you know, like when you buy a pair of new sneakers that you love and like sneakers that you're proud of, you kind of have like that pep to your step. So I definitely feel like this is one of those sneakers that would kind of add that pep to your step, have you feeling confident, head held high. So I definitely think, for me personally, I think it'll be worth it. And if you like the sneaker, you think it would give that same feeling, I definitely feel like it's worth it for you. But with that being said, you guys, if you are into like that overall sneaker history, clean design, and a pair that makes you look just as good as it did 30 years ago, absolutely go ahead and go for this pair. And this is a retro that's not just about hype, it's about legacy. So that being said, if you're looking for a modern comfort or like a shoe that's for like that lightweight performance, there are definitely some better everyday options out there, and I'll definitely give you guys a playlist up here if you do want to check. I have a couple of lists, or a lot of lists, where you guys have categories for lifestyle sneakers, everyday sneakers, comfortable sneakers, or whatever you may be looking for. But this one is definitely about that style, culture, and heritage. Now, with that being said, if you did enjoy this review, make sure to hit that like button, drop your thoughts on this shoe right here in the comment section, and subscribe so you don't miss more sneaker reviews coming in 2025. I did go ahead and buy 4 sneakers, you guys, so this is the one of the 4. So if you do want to check out, I have the foam posite coming out. I have the Nike Kobe off-court slides, which I have not seen on YouTube. Those coming out real soon. And then the last one I do have is a pair of slides. So the Jordan 11 Hydro Gamma slides. So if you want to see any of those and more, hit the subscribe button. We got a lot of reviews coming out, and we got a bunch coming out every single week. So with that being said, if you want to see how another Jordan stacks up this year, click right here in this playlist. You'll have a bunch of different Jordans to see whether they are more of your cup of tea. I'll see you there.